When I tell you these people literally try to destroy me, man, they put me in the hole for 5 months. Total darkness. And the officer was jigging at me every single day. You that effing cop. You that crooked cop. I hope you're gone for the rest of your life. I told him, I said, no, I wasn't no crooked cop. I was a highly decorated officer. Yeah, but you tell it to the court. I said, I will tell it to the court. And it got to a point where I started pushing the emergency button in the unit. You know, there's a red button inside the unit for emergency purposes. And I started pushing it repeatedly because at this point, I started doing like 1,000, 1,500 push-ups every other day because I'm conditioning my body and my mind because I know that at some point I'm gonna have to go to war. And Mr. Fernandez, I'll never forget him the longest day I live. He called me out and he says, Ray, he says, you come here. And they handcuffed me and shackled me. They had me put my hand through the slot where they feed you. They handcuffed me. Then they came in and shackled me and took me to his office. And when I got to his office, I said, I have not even spoken to my kids and my wife. And he gave me a phone call. And after that phone call, you know, it was heart-wrenching, man, you know, to hear my wife and kids. And he says, Ray, listen, the only other way you're going to be able to use the phone, man, you know, besides your attorney, is you're going to have to go down to general population. I told him, I don't care where you put me. And of course, they put me in GP. They put me in general population. I was down there with 8 guys who I had arrested or I was over when I worked in the jail. And every last one of them gave me the utmost respect. They were like, no, man, not you, Big Hicks. No, man. And here come this black dude that saw my picture paraded over the newscast from Dade County, you know, talking about he hate effing cops, you know. And one of the guys that knew me, Mario, he said, man, you know who that is? He said, you know who that is, man? That's Big Hicks. He said, he come from where we come from. And all of a sudden, you know, I goes in there to put down my bedroll. And as I'm putting down my bedroll, there he is. There's 122 inmates in the unit. And of course, I go and put my bedroll down. There he is in the door because they done gather around the door. I told him, I said, dude, you got a problem with me? I said, come on in here. We can handle this like men. You running your mouth, you bumping your gums. I said, come on in here. We can handle this like men. So what he tried to do, he tried to rush me. And when he tried to rush me, I literally tried to beat him to death. I've been fighting ever since I was 6 years of age, man. Ever since I was 6 years old, I've been fighting. And anybody that know me from the streets will tell you, man, you know, it's a shame. It's a disgrace, man. It's a disgrace. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, man, what these people's put me through. But I literally tried to come at. I tried to put my fist through his brains. And all of a sudden, the officer ran in because there was only one officer in the unit. He ran up and everybody scattered, you know, and they finally moved this guy to 8 West, 9 West, wherever. I don't know where he went. As long as they got him from around me, because I really wanted to finish him, to be honest with you. Because they had and the feds reached to get sardines. And that lid is like a razor blade, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the jumper that we wore, the green jumper that we wore, you know, I kept me a cap with me, to be honest with you. Because I know at this point, you know, I'm in a situation. I mean, come on, man. You can't take an officer and put him in GP. That's a death threat, man. If a person don't know how to defend themselves, you listen, you done. But you know what's strange? You know what's strange, Matt, is that even while I was there as an inmate, and you can see it in the book, I won a life-saving award. The officer walked out the unit, had to go to the restroom. And all of a sudden, this black guy who was shot in his head a long time ago, he started having seizures and convulsions where he swallowed his tongue. So the guy started calling me, big homie. Man, come. So I ran out on the rec yard, you know, and there he is. He swallowed his tongue. So the warden of the institution gave me a life-saving award. So the same type of officer that I was out for the Broward Sheriff Office is the same thing I'm displaying while I'm an inmate faced with natural life imprisonment without possible parole.